So a couple weeks ago, I made a video where I spoke about how Yuji, at the time, was kind of a special protagonist. And I say special because Yuji, for the longest time, was not special. Everyone else had a CT, could use RCT, Gojo has the 6 eyes, Megumi has Maharaga, so it was kind of always like, oh, well, Yuji I guess is the main character, but he really felt like he really couldn't do much besides Black Flash, which he really couldn't. But that to me added a special beauty to Yuji's story, because it put everyone else at risk in a weird way. It made it so that when Yuji was around, he would actually have to suffer. Characters would die right in front of his face, and he couldn't rely on the power of friendship or some cool hair color change just to ass pull him through the moment. He just had to acknowledge the fact that your comrades can die at any point in this world of sorcery. He also recently was confirmed to be able to use RCT, and in the chapter last night alone, I think he landed 8 Black Flashes, literally like doubling the record that was put by Nanami and almost tied by Gojo. It's just insane. Like, Yuji just literally went through the biggest overnight super buff I've almost ever seen in an anime moment, like, in my life. And honestly, I'm not even here to shit on it. It was just kinda sorta jarring. It just threw for a loop all the things that I kinda knew about Yuji in terms of he was the struggle MC. And outside of that, do I think it was good for the story? Honestly, absolutely. Because for a long time, man, Yuji has been the character that people love to say is boring as all hell. So he absolutely needs his time to shine. 100%. For the longest time, since Gojo got wiped back in chapter 236, that was almost around like 20 weeks ago. And at this point, it was more than 20 weeks ago. It was about almost probably like 25 because of breaks. And people have been begging almost for Gojo's return. But that's simply because, honestly, who else is even going to compete with Sukuna? We all loved Gojo because he was cool, he was funny, but in terms of competitiveness in the story, him and Sukuna were the big two. And it's like, well, who can even do anything now? Yuta's been injured, all the other cast, Kusakabe, Maki's pretty weak. It's like, you don't want to just keep recycling these people who clearly have already shown that they're pretty impressive fighters themselves. And Yuji has almost, honestly, at no point in the story had that moment. And this is definitely his moment. But the one thing that almost messes this up just a little bit for me, adds to the manga, messes up Yuji's accomplishments just a little bit. Sukuna just straight up says, yeah, Yuji was the brother that I ate when I was in my mother's womb. And somehow Kenjaku gained access to the soul, and he turned that into Yuji. And we all know how Kenjaku gets down. He has a secret backshot curse technique. That freaky stuff. But outside of that, man, it really felt like a bit of Naruto, a bit of Bleach here, where all of a sudden we're being exposed to that, hey, you have this X factor in your lineage, which will now allow you to go crazy in this final moment, this big climactic moment. And it doesn't ruin anything for me, but it was a little on the nose, I must say. Especially with Sukuna having the pink hair, Yuji having the pink hair. People have speculated this for a long time. Why was Yuji just so freakishly strong, even though there was no binding vow? People speculated maybe that was the case, but no, it's really just he is Sukuna's twin. And even though Yuji has gotten all these new things in the recent chapters, when it came to using the RCT, it was already shown that Chozo kind of had to help him understand it. When it came to using his new CTs, Sukuna said that the slashes were pretty dull. And when it came to using blood manipulation, Chozo was saying how he had to give him some sort of item to help him shoot the blood. So Yuji's definitely not at master level with the new techniques, which is more aligned with, I feel like, how JJK has presented itself. That even when you're trying to do something, you definitely are not a master of it, and everything takes time. So to me, this was honestly quite the awesome chapter, quite the huge reveal. It was a lot of fun, but I'm honestly way more curious how people in general actually feel about it. If you made it this far in the video, please drop a comment, let me know. Does this stain Yuji's character? Is he no longer that struggle, hard-earned MC? Or now, is this like well-timed? Is it well worth it? Is this the big payoff you've always wanted to see from your main man Yuji, and he finally is taking hold of his own manga? I am so curious how people genuinely feel about this character now that we have this new information and we're seeing him do these new amazing things.
This is real.